Hello and welcome to a Let's Play series of Hearts of Iron 3, their finest hour. We are going to start the game right now, and as you can see, we are starting on the 1st of January 1936, and we are going to play as the Soviet Union, a country I have never played Hearts of Iron 3 as before, so we're going to see how well this goes. There's going to be a substantial, probably, amount of time before we get to the actual war here, so let's get started, but just so you know, this is going to be a pretty slow-burning Let's Play until we get things started. Now, we've got 3 notifications up here. One is that more efficient laws can be enacted. I can enact specialist training, but I don't have the money for that. It costs 98.6 money. I have 49 money. We're going to fix our research in a minute, and we're going to fix our IC in a minute. So let's look at politics first. So we have foreign minister. Let's see what we can replace this guy with. We're going to replace him with Molotov. +5 resources. Resources, not a huge deal for the Soviets. Supplies, +20%. We'll make Stalin the armaments minister. Supplies are good because if you have more supplies or a bonus to supplies, or if your troops are using less supplies, then you don't need to burn IC making more supplies. Chief of the Army, supply consumption. So that looks good. Chief of the Air Force. We are going to be most concerned, I think, with light aircraft. So let's see. That's at the highest possible. These are our laws here. Volunteer Army, we definitely need to... Okay, one of the following must be true. Neutrality is below 65. Unity is at least 60. Our current national unity is 54%. Ruling party is not a democracy. Neutrality, ruling party is communism. So we can't activate any of this stuff yet, but it's a good idea to keep in mind when we can do so. So we can get our neutrality below 55 and our unity to 70, I think, without too much trouble. So basic mobilization. So this appears, these two factors, neutrality and national unity, appear to be the big factors for the Soviets. That's where we want it to be. This is totally not where we want it to be. That's where we want it to be. Okay, so we need to get our national unity up. So we've appointed Molotov to foreign minister, which happened historically, I think not quite this early. Stalin himself has assumed the duty of armaments minister. Voroshilov is now chief of the army, and Alksnis, okay, has been promoted to chief of the Air Force. So that looks fine for now. Let us look at technology and see what we have for leadership. 21.9, which is not that good. So let's take a look. Our officers are at 98%. We need to keep making officers at that rate. Diplomacy probably doesn't need to be that high. Let's get this to 1 spy per day. And lock it there. And let's go to intelligence. Now, the big country, we want to prioritize our own domestic spies, of course. We want to go high counter-espionage. We want to raise national unity. And let's see. Yeah, would really like to support the ruling party too, but I'm concerned about doing all 3 of these. So the other thing we want to... we need to emphasize spies in Germany. 1 counter-espionage and increased threat. Let's see what we can do to support the French. We'd like to raise France's national unity, actually, because France's national unity is pretty low. That's a guess on the AI's part, and it's probably lower than that. What we want to probably do here is support our party. and France. If we could turn France to the common turn, that might be helpful. And we want to prioritize Japan, and we want to increase threat on Japan. So that is pretty much everything we want to do there for now. Let's look at the political map mode here. So Romania, Hungary are likely to join the Axis. Turkey can be brought into the Axis if the German player is really trying to do it. I don't do that as Germany because, to my mind, that just opens up another big front. However, in the case of the Russians, that's actually to my advantage. So what we're going to do here is Europe. I think they're considered Europe. Are they considered Asia? Turkey. We're going to influence Turkey. And actually, we're going to probably influence France as well. France might be in the Allies already, in which case they cannot be influenced, so they can't be influenced. So actually, let's go back to intelligence and do covert operations in France as well, and we may end up trying a coup over there. I don't think it'll work, but hey, it'd be fun to try it. Alright, so back to technology. We need 2 points in diplomacy, and we have 34 diplomatic influence right now, and that'll get spent on like trade agreements and stuff like that, which we're going to automate. I don't want to deal with that, particularly since the Soviet Union has plenty of resources. Plus 319, plus 122, plus 73, plus 14.2. I'm tempted to just turn everybody down for trade. Our money's in pretty good shape too, actually. Alright, so we have 13 officers per day. We're going to get that down to about 10 officers per day. Okay, so that should be sufficient for now. And that gives us a whopping 8.27, which is terrible. Alright, so as the Soviets, we need to concentrate on ground warfare. So we're going to get these militia and small arms, tanks, fighters. We need, let's see, a lot of this stuff won't get done quite yet, but that's okay. Land warfare. Let's look at air first, actually. We're looking for that. I am going to go almost exclusively with fighter support for air. And then we're going to wait on this land doctrine stuff, actually, because we're way over our production already. So let's look at production. We have here some what looks like transports, what looks like submarines, and what looks like submarines. And these are eating, we have 116 IC that we have available. The question is, do we continue making these or not? I'm going to say I think we're going to keep making them. But let's start looking at divisions. Divisions as reserves. Let's look at our rifle divisions, where we have infantry, infantry, infantry. Put artillery in there. Now the way this works is serial is one after the other, parallel is at the same time. So Serial takes advantage of practical knowledge that you get by continuing to build units, where parallel you get all the units sooner, which is also useful. So we're going to probably make this 10. Let's lower that to 5. Okay, so we have 15 wasted IC here so far. We're going to pretty much exclusively make these 3 types of aircraft. So let's look at 3 interceptors in serial, 3 attack bombers in serial, and 3 close air support in serial. And that will let us build our practical. Naval, we're pretty much going to totally ignore. We really just don't need naval unless we're going to do something off the wall, like keep the war going until 1948 and attack Western Europe and then America, which I think we're probably not going to try for this particular game. Our goal is going to be the domination of Europe. So our goal is to win the game as the U.S. So let's see what else we got here. Motor rifle, tank brigade, tank divisions. We have medium tanks already, right? No, actually, we can't make those yet. All right, so we've got infantry divisions coming. We want, we really want some medium armor here. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we can get going. Garrison troops are probably not such a bad thing. We can already do guards. Let's look at what the guards... let's see, guards move at 4. Motorized moves at 8. Armor car moves at 9. Motorized AA moves at 8. Alright, so I'm going to call this okay for now. And of course we're still paused here. Wasting on reinforcement. We need 107. We have 19. Wow. Okay, and obviously the Soviet army is in dire need of modernization. Now our national decisions, the national decision that's on the doorstep here is begin the Great Officer Purge. Now the advantage to this is you lose a bunch of officers and you get a disorganized officer corps pretty much for the duration of the entire war, and you get a leadership penalty. But you also gain 500 manpower and 22 unity, and it's the 22 unity that's going to be most important. So we're going to let this go for 6 months or so and see if our efforts to raise national unity and support the ruling party are paying off here. And we can't do that right now, so let us unpause. Now let's automate trade. We're going to need to reorganize the Soviet military, and if we look at theater map mode here, we see that we've got, I think, more theaters than we need. But then again, the Soviet army is going to be pretty big, so we're not going to get rid of any of them either. So we have, this is the Archangel HQ, this is Stalingrad HQ, this is the Far Eastern Theater, which probably won't have a lot of troops. So let's actually start working on them first. Let's find this guy. Oh, this is a mess. Let's collapse all that. Far Eastern Theater. So we have here a theater HQ that's in Vladivostok, which I guess isn't surprising particularly, but it would actually be to my advantage to not have that in Vladivostok. Since Vladivostok might get hit by the Japanese. Is this urban? It is urban. Okay. So we're going to relocate this HQ here. And I can control right-click to do strategic redeployment. We have Pacific Fleet. We have a relatively small Pacific Air Wing. We have a submarine fleet, actually. We're going to put that submarine fleet that we got rolling off the production line over here in the Pacific, actually. And we're going to try and annoy Japan with it if we go to war with them, since it's of limited use in the European theater. Okay, so now we have this Far Eastern Front, which is also in Vladivostok. Hooray. We're going to strategically redeploy them up here. And this guy over here. It's on the border with Mongolia, so yeah, that's fine. Who are these guys? Oh, this is Tanu Tuva, whoever that is. So if we look at diplomacy here, actually, the Comintern consists of the Soviet Union. These are basically countries that are locked into my faction. The Axis is just Germany right now. Japan and Italy will likely join them, probably starting in 1936. The Comintern is obviously the Soviet Union, Mongolia, and Tanu Tuva. So, going back to the Far Eastern Theater. Okay, so the Far Eastern Theater is in Vladivostok, and it's about to get strategically redeployed up here. The Far Eastern Front. Okay, I see the problem. First of all, there's no particularly good reason why these units should be up here in the middle of nowhere. So, we are going to redeploy these guys down here. This is literally guarding nothing in the mid-Siberian hinterlands here. Alright, and we've got basically no way to defend any of this territory, to be honest. If the Japanese decide they want to mount a really serious effort, there's not much we can do about it. Alright, so, and you see we've got, okay, we got theater level HQ, we got army groups, and then we've got these divisions directly under the army groups. We're going to need to fix that. And then we have an army here. We have some corps under that, but then we have some divisions directly under the army, which we also don't want, because if we don't, and there's no sense in us really paying much attention to leaders right now, because we're going to kill all our leaders anyway in a little while. Speed the clock up a little bit. We're going pretty slow. So right now I'm satisfied with that. Let's go back to theater map mode. Collapse this. We want to look at the Archangel HQ, which is right, which is in Archangel, which is actually perfect place for it, actually. Okay, so below this guy we have a 14th Army and Archangel Front, which is an army group. So we're going to put this under that army group. What a mess this is. We're going to create a new corps. Okay, so and then we'll put this here as well. We're going to have to move all these units around too, but we've got plenty of time to do that. So that is okay. Let's speed the clock up a little more. We've got 3 and 2. I find that this is the easiest way to maintain these units. Okay, so HQ is in Archangel. And the Army group is actually in Archangel as well. We don't want that. We want to put it in a city. They're actually marshes. Theater HQ. No, we're not going to put it in the city. We're going to put it here. I like to have the these units in different areas. Okay, so this basically looks fine for now. We're going to have to go in and fool with this again later. Unit is in poor supply. That's because we're in the Soviet Union. Alright, so our IC wasted situation is we're wasting 20 on consumer goods. Wow. Our national unit, our descent is actually quite low. But our national unity is not that great either. So we fix that. And actually that ought to help production somewhat as well, but not as much as we'd like it to. We're going to drop this to about 20. That looks good. And we're going to need upgrades as well. Our reinforcement's not a factor right now since we're not at war. Right now we're most concerned about this production value. You see what we got going on here, and we're not going to actually produce much more other than these fleets. 36 April. It's the 13th of January. Subs and subs. You know what? We're going to kill that. We're going to kill this flotilla. We'll keep 1 unit of submarines. And that'll be good for now. And that will make our production... Ships are expensive. So that'll make our production a bit less bad. Let me put it that way. Now, as the Soviet Union, there's something else we need to do, actually. Let's look at simplified terrain. This mountain range right here are the Ural Mountains. And what we need to do is build factories. Behind the Urals. Because we have great resources. We just don't have... much actual industry. You know what? Let's actually do it this way. I'm sure we can place them later. So we'll go 3 serial, we'll go 5 serial, 5 parallel. And you see that caused our production need to jump again too. But that's actually okay. And if these actually roll off in February 1937, I'll be pretty happy. That's 5 more IC. Our production will eventually be quite massive. But it isn't right now. So this is Kiev HQ. Let's take a look at Kiev HQ's structure here. So right now, that's weird. This, do we need to go in and edit our theaters? How do we even do that? Geez. I may have to look that up, actually. I've never done that, but I've never actually had to do that before. If we go here and go to Kiev HQ, that's what we're looking for. We actually want the Bjarnsk HQ. That's the one we actually want to edit. All right. All right, I confess I don't know how that works. We've got a few provinces here, naturally right on the border, that aren't getting picked up by a theater, which we don't want. So we're going to have to fix that. I'll look that up between episodes, and we'll get it fixed later on. So for now, we've got the clock running. Let's get us up to 30 January. So at least we'll have gotten through a month of play before we call the first episode. All right, so we're on 1st of February 1936. We got a whole bunch of production in. We've got some intelligence out. We've already got 8 active spies in France. We've got 8 active spies in Germany, and actually we can take a quick look at... We've got 9 active spies in Japan, actually. Only 1 in the US, 1 in the UK. We're going to actually drop, we'll put 2 in the US, and we will have them do military espionage. That sounds good. And we already have a covert ops point in France. So let's take a quick look at France. France is pretty vulnerable to the communists, generally speaking, which they honestly were historically. It'd be nice if we could throw a coup in Germany. I think that's extraordinarily unlikely to occur, though. I'm willing to roll the dice with France, but not with Germany. So specialist training, we can do that now. So, and that will give us slower unit recruit time, but will give us better starting experience. And one of the problems that we have as the Soviet Union is that our units are all shit. So, at this point, and it's only through time that we can help stop that from occurring. So our improving the Soviet military is a major priority. So I think we're on a good track here. We're not going to go the classic Soviet wall of dudes strategy. We're going to try and go with a somewhat better military, but we're still going to have to do the officer purge. And we're going to see how this works. I could faceplant, we'll see, but if so, it will be an interesting Let's Play. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please check out the next one, which should be posted to the channel shortly. Please subscribe to the channel. We will have more in this vein coming soon. And check out the links in the notes below for links to follow us on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter, and the blog as well at Strategy Chronicle at WordPress.com. So check that out, and we'll see you next time.